title, The Powerless Dreamer. In a world where every person was born with a unique power, there lived a boy named Arin. Powers ranged from flying and controlling elements to healing and super strength. The world was a vibrant place, filled with dazzling displays of abilities at every turn. But for Arin, it was a place of quiet sadness. Arin was born without a power. His parents, both gifted with extraordinary abilities, were loving and supportive, but they couldn't hide the concern in their eyes. They watched as Arin grew, waiting for some sign of a gift, some spark that would reveal his hidden talent. But as the years passed, it became clear that Arin was different. As a child, Arin would sit on the rooftops of his village, watching the other kids soar through the skies, create gusts of wind with a flick of their hands, or summon creatures from the shadows. He longed to join them, to feel the rush of the wind against his face, or the thrill of controlling something beyond himself. But no matter how hard he wished, nothing ever happened. School was the hardest. Every day he was surrounded by kids who were learning to master their abilities while he was left alone, a silent observer in a world of wonders. The teachers tried to be kind, but Arin could see the pity in their eyes. They would tell him that everyone had a purpose, that perhaps his power would come later, but as the years went by, even their hope began to fade. Arin's only solace was in books. He would spend hours in the library, reading tales of heroes who fought against all odds, who overcame their weaknesses to become legends. These stories filled him with a bittersweet hope, a small spark that maybe, just maybe, he could find his place in this world. One day, Arin discovered an old book in the far corner of the library. It was dusty and worn, with pages yellowed by time. The book told the story of a hero who had no power, just like him. This hero, through sheer will and determination, had found a way to protect those he loved, even in a world that had cast him aside. Arin clung to this story, reading it over and over until the pages were ingrained in his mind. He began to train, pushing his body to its limits. If he couldn't have a power, he would make up for it in other ways. He practiced day and night, honing his reflexes, building his strength, and sharpening his mind. But no matter how hard he tried, he knew it would never be enough. The world was a cruel place for the powerless. He was ridiculed, ignored, and forgotten. The people who once showed him kindness began to turn away, their patience worn thin by his fruitless attempts to prove himself. Even his parents, though they still loved him, began to accept that their son would never be like the others. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Arin stood on the edge of a cliff overlooking his village. He watched as the lights flickered on, one by one, each house a beacon of warmth and life. A single tear rolled down his cheek as he whispered into the wind, "I just wanted to be someone." He stood there for hours, his heart heavy with the weight of his dreams. The sky grew darker, and the stars began to twinkle above, indifferent to the pain of the boy below. Arin closed his eyes, feeling the cool breeze against his face, and for a moment, he imagined what it would be like to fly, to feel the freedom that had always been just out of his reach. But when he opened his eyes, he was still the same, still powerless, still alone. In that moment, Arin realized the harsh truth. Not everyone is destined for greatness. Some dreams, no matter how deeply felt, are simply not meant to be. And as the night swallowed him in its embrace, he turned away from the cliff, walking back towards the village with heavy steps. Arin would continue to live, but the fire that once burned so brightly within him was now just a flicker, a faint reminder of a dream that would never come true. And in a world full of heroes, he remained just a boy, powerless and forgotten.